Hi, I'm Matt with Schematical, and welcome to CTO Coffee Hour. With me, as always, Dominic DeMarco. Dominic, thanks for joining.
Happy Tuesday, and I started my coffee brewing about 30 seconds late because it's just getting done now. I'll be right back.
All right, and I still am suffering from a crippling Dr. Pepper addiction, so I'm just sticking with that for now. Um, Today, we are going to
Oh,
talk about RAG,
well,
Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Every
even
time,
before that,
okay,
could you go into a little bit? And I noticed the quality improvement of your um, infographic on this article.
the infographic. Well, so just to
Cheers.
cheers to preface everybody. I do my own writing. You could tell probably by the spelling errors and things of that, and the weird way I phrase things. We do. My assistant, she proofreads it, thank goodness, and takes out most of the spelling errors. But you could tell I write a certain way, and it doesn't sound like
Mm,
AI. But I do all my own writing. With that said, I am not necessarily a great graphic designer. I can do a little pixel
mm.
art. Oddly enough, I can draw portraits and paint watercolors pretty well. But you don't want me doing graphic design for you to make your logo or anything like
But
that.
I guess my point though, I looked at this and it looks pretty darn good.
I'm getting to where I chucked it into Gemini. I created a gem in Gemini and and it asked me, well, before I created the gem, because I just created the gem after I created that one. I chucked it in there and they asked me, what style do you want? And I looked at the old timey style and I'm like, well, we're talking about video. And I'm like, oh, the old
Mm.
days of like old Mickey Mouse, Steamboat, Mickey and that stuff. So I chose that style and it actually took what I had said and drew a fairly decent little flow chart there.
I looked at this and I'm like, this is a pretty solid infographic of a super base. Like, how does this work in super oversimplified terms?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so I've been experimenting using AI for the thumbnails on things. So if you
Mm,
see in the future the thumbnails for these videos have my face in it, I created the equivalent of a Claude skill that
mm.
has some pictures of me making weird random faces that it's going to generate these. So Lorato is going to my assistant. She's going to experiment with that. So we'll
Mm.
see if those catch anybody's eye. But yeah, we're playing around a little bit with it. But again, I do all my own writing and I do my own research on this stuff. It's not like I defer everything. So, with that said, you ready to go on to the meat
Carry
of
on.
this retrieval augmented generation? And man, I stumble over talking like that saying that it's short for RAG,
Mm.
but basically what it means is that is how we allow LLMs to make a tool call out and get current events and data there. And so they get, instead of just training an LLM, which we did for the longest time, and just said, the knowledge cutoff in the training was like, let's just say 6 months
Mm.
earlier. And you say, what happened yesterday in the news? And it would be like, yesterday was whatever happened 6 months ago. Now it has the ability to go out there and query real world information or whatever knowledge base you give it and then use that to help influence its response. Now, is it perfect? No. Does it help with grounding? Somewhat. They are still prone to hallucinate. They can completely ignore current events. I've tested various agentic tools, but that's basically when you say agentic, that's where you give the LLM the ability to do two calls, and one of them is to retrieve information that will augment the generated text response. And that's RAG right there. So I've done a bit of writing on this, but I've not gone in crazy detail. But a post that went out, I think yesterday, that I did was on VRAG, and so that is video rag. And so there, you're seeing an increase in video generation models out there. A lot of you've probably seen the brain
So
rot that's
is there a good example of this? Because I couldn't find one. I found lots of GitHubs, I found lots of Medium articles, I saw lots of Reddit posts. I didn't find a good, easy to access experiment for this.
well. I think the big guys are doing it under the hood. They don't always like to tell everybody how they're doing it. So you probably got some of the big carriers doing that. My source material, I should have linked in that post. I can try and dig it up if you'd like. I don't have it in front of me right now, but um, Yeah, we can do that, but it's basically you've got an image database. It's a vector DB. So you take the image and you generally, like, you've got a bunch of tagged images and they trained a classifier. So now I think I've used this example about a million times, but you've got, I don't know anybody, no one's going to generate a version of torn bicep, not bicep. But let's just add enough pictures of cats that I could, it's cat, not cat, or cat, dog, insert other animals here. So you train a classifier basically that takes the image and can recognize a cat in it and assign it basically a number value, a numeric value, how cat-like or dog-like or whatever like it is. And we use that so when new images are uploaded, we can then score them appropriately. Say, yep, these are all the cat pictures. Now I'll get clustered together in the database. So then when you go to say, hey, I want to generate a video about cats, instead of just using what the model's been trained on, you could actually you could query the vector database using RAG to find a bunch of cat pictures that it now gets fed into the video model as the input. So we've got a bunch of grounded images theoretically that we're feeding it that should make the video generation mechanism do better because we've given it so many good sources.
Would it make sense then if I uploaded 20 pictures of my cat versus one picture of my cat, that would perhaps influence the output insofar as how much of my cat was apparent in there? Or
I think that'd be on how much the model is trained to respect the input. So if you train the model to weigh it evenly, like, okay, one picture of your cat versus thousands of other memories of cats, then it's probably not going to have your cat influence too much. But I believe, it depends on the people training the models, that they would weigh the input a lot heavier than what it was trained on. So that's a theory there, but it doesn't sound all that exciting because cat images don't change all that often. But let's just say you've got an existing video model, and then you've got a knowledge base of images of a facility that you own. Let's just say I owned a building, and I've got a knowledge base of a bunch of different photos from around there for our marketing shots, and I want it to generate a marketing video for our facility. We could then say, okay, we want the first hallway shot, I want the first shot to be the front hallway, or the second shot to be us standing in front of the building, and it could then go query my vector indexed images of my facility there, and then use those to generate whatever video I've then asked it. But it grounds it versus if you just said, hey, generate a cool marketing video of a building and you try to describe it to it, or even if you could hand input the images, but you could have a lot bigger knowledge base, which offers a lot more flexibility and it keeps up to date. It also fixes the not being, or the training cutoff problem. So if I train a video model and I put it out there to the world, and now all of a sudden tomorrow a new Gundam style dance pops off or whatever, and I want it to take that into account and generate something from that, it can now query images, assuming the knowledge base is up to date with the latest, TikTok or Insta images of that. It can now start generating off of that. So interesting technique.
So the bigger the database you have, the more you can do with it. With anything data driven, right? Well, I'm just thinking about this from personalized advertising perspective. Shoe store, exactly what somebody likes, etc. You can send them now perhaps custom videos of their favorite shoe potential styles, colors, etc., with the right music, etc., to send everybody a personalized sales video.
That's possible. Something that just popped in my head that's absolutely horrifying is like Facebook could generate ads with your friends in it. So now you've got like some social pressure sitting there thinking, oh, look at my buddy Jimmy over here. He's really enjoying that ice cream cone or that set of shoes or something like that. I want to be like Jimmy. Goodness gracious, that's diabolical. That one I don't like at all. It's horrifying, but it could be done by, having it query your it wouldn't be a vector, but
Now, if it's
your
doing it, I can see much better doing generic. But if it wants you to be in the video, that's where it tends to struggle. And that's where I said, do we need like 20 photos of Matt because or cats? And we were doing a pet project that it might very well like. And I tried this and I couldn't find any good way to do it. But I like uploaded a photo I'd taken near the Pantheon, and I said, okay, first I want you AI to describe this photo. Then I want you to forget about the original image. And then I want you to draw me a photo only from the description of the previous photo. But you could tell it never forgot because there was a person in a red jacket in this photo that was very
Mhm.
predominant. And in every derivative photo, there was a person with a red jacket that was
were
quite
you doing this
visible.
via like a chat interface?
Yes.
Yeah, so it had the previous context in there. You'd have to open up a new chat interface and
Right. But I
to
told
get.
it, please forget about delete the image from your memory. No, never even like
Oh
it
no,
was out.
that's on the agentic software. The agentic software was
Mm.
feeding in the other image because the agentic software doesn't know. It just builds this
But
context window,
But
and
if you
that
just
image.
wanted to say walk around this area and it also has contextual knowledge about this area, how it could construct something realistic. Now, when you say put me in that area and to have me look, sound, move, etc., like me, I think is where the real challenge is.
Well, if the knowledge base knew who you were and fed it in those images as an input, it could do
Hmm,
it. I would think so. I wouldn't think it would struggle with that. I've done,
interesting.
yeah, I've done some fun stuff. I mean, you can feed in pictures and have people have them turn
Hmm.
into pirates and stuff. I've done some fun stuff with that.
Well, I mean, augmenting is easier because it's not you. I'm saying actual you, like you looking at yourself that's been augmented you in the camera.
So we're using the word augmented here, but I don't think you mean it like the rag augmented. What did we?
Okay.
I might not be following you.
Okay, sorry.
Uh,
I'm probably misdirected then.
okay. Um. So that was something I found interesting that I thought would be worth talking to the right people. So if
So
anybody's got a video,
Nova Real was the tech that you pointed out with this article. Have you played with that or know what would be a
just
good
a
use
little bit.
case
I've done
for it?
more work with Google VO than Nova Real, but
Mm.
if I had to do videos in production, I'd be looking at Nova because Bedrock, I believe they'll let you fine tune it, and so if you're doing like GAN generative adversarial neural networks, basically, which if you're generating images, then and you wanted to fine tune it, or generating videos, Bedrock has a really nice interface for fine tuning stuff that they released recently. So I'm dying to go to the metal on that one.
So do you think that, so do they have trained models available on Bedrock, do you think, or
Yes.
you must train it?
No,
Um,
most of them are
Hypothetically,
pre-trained.
I mean, if there's a large number, is there somebody who has trained their model on indie video game trailers, for example?
That one, indie video games trailers is an interesting niche. I do not know. They're usually these models generate like short sequential videos. Like they're
Right. I
not
guess my
like if
point
I
is,
wanted.
could you feed in like 10 videos and say, I like these, and then feed in 5 minutes of video from a game and say, now make me one of these from this?
I theoretically you could. That would be interesting. So as far as I know, for text to video, the inputs or
Mm.
you might run it multiple times. So notice the Coke video. They got so much heat. The Coke AI video, Coca-Cola. It can generate very short clips right now. So it couldn't do a 60-second clip that
Mhm.
really like
And it's
which
only from
multiple
text.
shots in it. But it can do a 5-second clip, one shot, and then you just run that multiple times. Okay, now give me a penguin, now give me a
Mm.
polar bear, and put it together. So to my knowledge, nothing's been trained as a composer yet, though someone's doing that already, I'm sure.
Mm.
It's kind of like, I think it was the Moore's Law thing, the duration of these clips in which, that they can generate, and the amount of context that will pass to the next
Mm.
one is going to increase every annum,
Hmm.
so I think we're well on our way. But the Condor guys, I posted a video, or did a post where I reposted kind of their video. They did a thing, how to spot AI generated videos, and one of the things is the current state, those video models are limited in the duration,
Mm.
and kind of before all of a sudden it starts morphing into something weird and it forgets its base. So, but they're getting better at it. Don't get me wrong. There are
the rounding errors have added up to enough of there's going to be some weirdness that happens next. The rounding errors accumulate in the AI frame generation.
Yeah, and additionally, a lot of that stuff trained on, some of it's animated, some of it's real world. I don't know how much is trained on video games, which is an interesting medium that, that would be an interesting one. I wonder if I could have it generate like it's got to know Super Mario Bros. But, being as a game trailer generally consists of a variety of shots, I don't know how well it would do at picking the,
Well,
next
also to your point, Super Mario Brothers, if it just goes and Googles Mario from Super Mario Brothers, it's got not just the original video game, but every subsequent video game, every kid in a Halloween costume that's dressed and tagged as Mario. So I bet you there's going to be, you might be able to say, okay, only down to the pixel art original, etc. But I think if you cast it wide enough, you're going to get some averaging of those different things together as the output.
You could. So that's in my, when I wrote about this on Mondays, you could put a step in there though, where you could take the medium that's returned from the vector search and then have a human in the loop and selects the what they wanted to have fed in. So you're not getting every single thing in the world. You've got some amount of human, what's the word I'm looking for? Curation before it goes to the model. So that's an option as well. And I think that would have a better output, but it kind of gives you, it shows off, depending on the, how you're doing it, it kind of breaks the fourth wall or gives you a peek under the hood, so to say. So I don't think it'll be long till we can do video to video as well. If we're not already doing that, I don't know. I haven't seen that, but where you could
Somebody's
feed
got to
it.
be doing it.
Yeah, well, you could take a
Isn't
video.
doing well yet.
You take a video, like an actual sequence of images. That's not. Actually, it knows this is frame 1, frame 2, frame 3 of someone playing Mario the first level, and then say change it to an ice level, and it probably will be able to do that in short order. That wouldn't be too hard. So I'd wager they're training on it, but God, I don't even want to know how expensive it is. What was it? I found a model that was $8 or not. I found the most expensive AWS instance I had ever found before. And I think it was over $8 an hour.
Wow.
Which, yeah, it adds up pretty quickly. So, you can do some pretty beefy training on stuff. It was like a 48 XL. I was like, jeez. So random side tangent there.
Yeah, have you found need for one of those yet, or are you still hoping to, or is that like beyond what you think you actually need for anything?
It's possible. The use case, if I remember correctly, because I did a bunch of different posts, but the use case was for a video data lake. And so it was taking in a mass amount of videos and classifying them to vector databases. And I think they may even do a fine-tuned embedding model on that one, which would have been cool. But either way, that made sense. So imagine you got your Ring doorbell competitor, so to say, and you wanted to classify every video and store it on there. You could be doing it there, but you wouldn't need one that beefy for that use case. You could do that in parallel, honestly.
Anyways, you'd be doing a lot of data in, data out, and processing is the point.
Yeah, if you were training a model, it made more sense than if you're classifying. So I'm trying to remember the exact use case, but I'm sure I'll write on it once I remember. With that said, I think we've covered this one pretty thoroughly. Do you have any other closing thoughts before I wrap up here?
Nope, bring it home.
All right. Well, if you're interested in Tech Deck video game, we are making progress on that. The Steam page, this is kind of news that we'll be dropping that Steam page soon. It looks like we got accepted in there. I'm sure there's a million more things we got to jump through, but that's coming soon. If you need help with this type of stuff, this is what I consult on. I specialize in Amazon. And if you need help setting up, your next level AI ML workloads, happy to help. If you need help just keeping your site up and running, that's something we do as well. I feel like I'm forgetting something here, but if you want to check out our course on security, O'Reilly's an animated guide to security in the cloud, which you can see is plastered all over my website, schematical.com. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'd love to talk to you. Have a great day.